Welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today we have the pleasure of having with us Jessica Desmond from the Adopt a Student program in Virginia Beach. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is a really interesting program. I had not heard of it, and I know that it's does a lot of good for the area, and so I want to give you an opportunity to tell us about it. Let's start with an overview of what Adopt a Student is.
Sure. Well, Adopt a Student was started in 2009 by the staff of Image Services Staffing, and our goal is to help the area's neediest children start their first day of school having all of their supplies that's required by their school, as well as a new backpack. So instead of showing up with nothing, they show up with their heads held high, ready for a good school year.
Okay, well, that for self-esteem reasons, anything you can do to make a first day of school or whatever better is good.
Right. I mean, can you imagine showing up with no pencil or notebook or anything, and your friends have all new supplies to start the year? It's
and typically, I know it was the case for me until I did a little bit more investigation on it, but people, when they hear about a program like this, they're thinking that it's just the little kids, kindergarten or first grade or whatever, but that's not really the case, right?
No, we help students of all ages, from kindergarten through high school. A lot of people do think of the little ones when they are wanting to shop for a child. And we certainly have plenty of those, but the middle schoolers and high schoolers need the help just as much as the elementary school kids do.
Okay, can you explain what makes this program different from some other programs that are out there?
Sure, there are a lot of school supply drives out there. I'm sure you see them all the time. Ours is different in that it's not the dump the supplies into a bin and hope that somebody needs them. There's definitely a place for that and a need for it, but we help children on an individual basis. So if you wanted to participate, we would assign you a specific child. We would provide you with their individual supply list for their specific school and grade and ask that you purchase every item on the list as well as a new backpack. You know, put it all together, mark it with that child's ID number, and drop it off at the designated shelter location that we work with.
Okay, all right, so that way the child is assured of having everything they need, and you're assured that what you're giving is going somewhere. Exactly.
It is going to a specific child. You are the only one shopping for that child. The children are all in homeless shelters, transitional housing programs throughout the Hampton Roads area.
Now, it's anonymous, though, right?
It is. We know the names of the donors, but the parents don't. And the shelters may, because we're telling them who's coming to drop off the items, but the parents don't know who's given it to them.
Now, the items are donated to the shelter, so there's a tax advantage, tax deduction for that, right?
Exactly. The children that we help are all involved in different homeless shelters and programs throughout the Hampton Roads area. So we work with shelters in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, and Suffolk. And they are all nonprofits and are happy to provide a tax receipt.
Okay. All right, and now you do some things that are not just, well, let's finish school first.
Sure.
All right, so you've got this drive, and you work with area businesses or anybody.
Anybody.
Right,
okay. Businesses, individuals, groups of friends, groups of coworkers.
All right, and this gets the kids ready to start school.
Right.
Okay, and then is there something from later on that you help with these shelters?
There's always a need for bulk supply donations, where you might go out and buy a ton of paper or pencils, or everybody at your work does gather together some supplies, like the throw the supplies in a bin kind of program. But the shelters and schools do need to replenish things throughout the year. Obviously, paper and pencils and erasers run out. So those donations are always very much in need as well. We can facilitate that sort of donation for you, or you can also call your local school and speak with the guidance counselor to find out what supplies they will need the most.
Okay, now you do all age students.
Right.
And to finish up the school side of this thing, the typical type school supplies are?
It varies. It's not just school supplies these days. Elementary school kids are probably going to need paper and folders and pencils and crayons and glue sticks. but they also usually need hand sanitizer and tissues and Ziploc bags, and it seems to change each year. Obviously, the older kids need more like the composition or spiral notebooks, maybe a flash drive.
iPad.
Well, the
I'm
schools,
teasing.
no, actually we get asked that a lot. The schools, I've spoken with many high schools in the area, and they have those available for the children who don't have them.
Calculators and
So,
things like
right,
that.
the graphing calculators, the iPads, the schools have those to lend to the students. So, that's what people worry about a lot when they think about shopping for a high schooler, and you don't have to worry about providing that.
That's why I brought it up, so you can make that point.
Right.
Okay. All right. So anyone can participate in the Adopt a Student program.
Definitely. Anybody
right.
who wants to help, we're happy to have them.
Okay. And now how do they participate? How can they participate? Do they just contact you and you walk them through it? Or
Pretty much. They would call or email me or anybody else at my company. And what we have is a list from the shelters. They provide us with a list that includes an ID number for the child, their age, gender, the school they're attending, and their grade level. Sometimes we get information on favorite color to help, the shopping. We would, of course, go over the program and how it works and what we want them to do by shopping for the child. And we would send them all of the information for that individual child or children. Don't think you can't shop for more than one.
Okay. All right. And now let's move over to Thanksgiving.
Right. Our first year, 2009, of Adopt a Student, our donors, after we completed the school supplies, many of them contacted me and said, okay, what next? What else can I do to help? So because our donors wanted to, we expanded our program to include Thanksgiving and Christmas. At Thanksgiving, we can't help the individual children, obviously, so we help their families. And we ask our contributors to buy a grocery gift card. You can determine the amount and we'll assign it to a family based on size. Usually they range from 2 to 8 members, or we can suggest an amount.
Okay.
Christmas is a little bit more like the school supply program. We have the list of the age and gender, and we get clothing sizes and wish list. And that one's pretty fun. What you do is up to you. You can purchase gift items and clothes. You can do just gift items. And you're not restricted to the list either. You don't have to buy everything that's on the list, and you're also not restricted to it. So if you have a great idea, you can definitely go for it.
Okay.
Christmas program makes a big difference because what you're purchasing is usually going to be all that child has to open on Christmas morning. So.
And again, this is anonymous as well.
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. So now, you're the director of this
right.
Adopt a Student program, right?
Right.
Okay, and you've been out on these things. So give me your impression of that. What is the best thing about it?
The best thing about it is what our contributors get out of it. Every year I hear these amazing stories from people of how it's touched their lives, how last year we had a woman whose mother had recently passed away, and she was a school teacher for her career. So she donated, she shopped an adopted child in memory of her mother for school supplies. We had one contributor who was in Disney World for his family, and he was adopting a little boy for Christmas who loved anything Buzz Lightyear. Well, he mentioned that while he was shopping in Disney World, and the clerk went around and grabbed everything Buzz Lightyear that they could and gave it to him for free to give to the child. Just the stories each year of how our contributors have such a great time doing the shopping and how it's touched their lives. Many of them have their children go out and shop with them so that they can learn, about giving back to the community. That's the best part, is what our contributors get out of it.
Well, that's good, that's good. And what is the thing that, the biggest need that you see? I imagine that you get, I don't know exactly what you get to see, but is there more people in this situation that need your help than you thought initially?
Yes, there definitely are. We've expanded the program also, so the list grows every year. We started out with 3 shelters and 1 school, and now we have 9 shelters and 2 schools that we work with. So not only have we reached out to more people, but the list of the children from the shelters and housing programs seems to grow each year as well. So there's definitely a larger need out there than
Well,
than
I
most
mean,
people know.
we've never had so many people on food stamps and everything else in this country before. It's just, it's so there's a huge need out there. So it's
Right.
great to see, organizations like yours stepping up and helping, and of course the area businesses or individuals being able to do that too.
Right.
Is there something that I didn't mention that you'd like to cover? Actually, I hit every question on my list this time.
I
so-
think we've covered everything.
okay.
And of course, if anybody has any questions, they can feel free to call or visit our website.
Okay, all right. Okay, so if you would like to help a student, either with the school program, the Adopt a Student program for school supplies, or maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas, or all three, whether you're a company or you're just an individual with a big heart and would like to help someone, there's a real need in Hampton Roads for that. And they are providing this service. Everybody's volunteer. There's no administration costs or anything involved in that you have to pay for. So all your donation goes directly to the shelters, and you get a tax deduction for that. And it's a worthy cause. So the contact information is at the end of this video. It's also at the bottom of this page. And I thank you so much for coming in. You're doing a great job for the community, and we need more people doing things like that.
Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.